What's up, y'all? So, I haven't made a video in a bit, but I wanted to make one today talking about our Lord and Savior Joe Biden. So, this headline, oh man, you gotta love ABC. After pledging not to build up Trump's border wall, Biden's intentions remain unclear. Landowners at the border are getting mixed messages as a political storm brews. So this headline would lead you to believe that think it's just kind of a gray area, it's kind of murky. And then you actually read this article and it says right here, last week a judge allowed the government to seize 6 acres of land from the Cavazos family in Mission, Texas, property on Rio Grande River. The family has rented out to tenants for decades. Jose Fred Cavazos, a 71-year-old member of the family, told ABC News he is disappointed by the judge's ruling and the Biden administration's continued pursuit of his land. It's like he's making a U-turn, Cavazos said to Biden. Why no more wall if he doesn't mean it? Great question, Jose. Um, yeah, so the DOJ is seizing land. So I think Biden's stance is pretty clear, actually. I don't think we need to speculate very much. He is continuing to build this wall. Um, so they continue to talk about it here, how essentially, Biden's DOJ is kind of just picking up where Trump left off after a little bit of kind of a stall period in between the two presidents. Now they're starting the project again and they're continuing to build this wall. So a lot of people's question of that was like, okay, even if it's like you believe he's doing it, why? What you have to ask the question, why would he build this wall? It's like his constituency is not going to like it, and that's a good question. The reason is because many of the corporations have a vested interest in constructing this wall, because as time goes on here, um, and we continue to destabilize Central and South American countries, that coupled with climate crisis is going to push millions of people north into the United States, even way more than are attempting to enter the US now. This is, speculation. Take this with a grain of salt. This is the predictions, but people don't know if this is totally true. So the wall would be useful in that sense for these corporations because it's just maintaining control. You don't have millions of people flooding across the border. I'm sure there's federal interests too. Like, I don't know. Maybe the CIA wants the wall also. There's definitely some people high up who want this thing though, and you know they're working hand in hand. Biden's puppet masters, so he's going to do whatever they say. I just think the reporting on this is amazing. So there's this Hill article. So the headline uh the headline is literally, Biden is thinking about building that wall, and that's a good thing. So the Hill, okay, uh, I guess that's a slightly more acceptable headline than ABC, because the Hill is kind of known for being like not right wing but more in the middle, whereas ABC is just like total left. um But I just thought this part of the article was interesting here, where it says Biden isn't going to be able to accomplish anything legislatively without at least some cooperation from Republicans, and constructing more border wall would be a good step towards achieving that objective. Why do we always have to compromise with the Republic? Why are they like the kings of negotiations, and we're always the ones who are having to sacrifice the shit that we want or don't want, like this wall? How, like, if that's seriously your argument, well, he has to build the wall because we got to get along with the Republicans, and well, what are you talking about? We control both houses of Congress and the presidency, and yet they're still trying to convince us we have no power. Democrats have no power. Well, what do you mean we have no power? We have a majority in both houses and control the executive branch. Like, we have been working up to this moment for years, and now we're finally here, and there's zero energy to do any action to change anything, not even to stop what Trump was doing. We're even going to continue that. So anybody who told you to vote for Joe Biden and was like, yeah, just vote for him and then we'll push him left, man, those people look stupid right now. Like, really stupid, because this is just going to show how much of a right-wing extremist corporatist fucking authoritarian Joe Biden is. He is building this wall after he promised he wouldn't do it. The amount of other stuff he's done is already absurd, but this is, I don't know why this feels like the cherry on top of everything bad he's done so far. This is just such a slap in the face, man. And if you're going to vote for Joe Biden again after you already voted for him once, that's shocking to me. And I think you really need to ask yourself, especially if you're in a blue state, am I throwing my vote away by voting for this guy? Like, I could be voting for a third party, helping them build up, helping them get some funding. You already know the Democrats are going to win. Like, if you live in California or Oregon like me, it's basically, it's going to be a landslide Democratic victory every time. So you might as well vote blue, not blue, sorry, third party. You might as well get them that extra funding, because the more we vote for them, the more they'll get on the map. And we got to stop voting for corporate authoritarian politicians like Biden. I mean, this is a continuation of Obama's presidency. And, you might say that to a lot of people and be like, oh, great. But if that's their reaction, then that just shows how they have zero knowledge about political history and clearly are unaware of the fact that on a policy level, George Bush and Obama's presidencies were indistinguishable on a policy level. If you had a list of both of the things that George Bush did and Obama did, and you put them next to each other, there would be no way to tell who's who. No way. Because both of them are, looking out for corporations, not giving people Medicare for all, doing weird Republican versions that actually give more money to pharmaceutical companies. Both of them are dropping an absurd amount of bombs, waging war all over the place, installing CIA coups and right-wing leaders in all countries all around the world. Both of these guys did this. Biden is doing the same thing, and we shouldn't be surprised. And if you're going to vote for this guy again, and you're going to try to convince me to vote for him, I'm going to laugh at you, because, well, that is if you're a liberal. If you're a Republican and you think, then it would make sense for you to vote for Biden. That's the other thing about this. I don't want to hear any Republicans complain about Biden anymore, because he is carrying out Trump's whole agenda. So you should probably be happy right now, actually. And, if you're Republican, conservative, corporatist, authoritarian, Biden, he's right up your alley. He checks every box on that list. So, anyways, that's kind of a rant. But, the definition of insanity is making the same mistake twice. And I am not insane, so I'm not going to make the same mistake twice. I'm not going to vote for this guy again. I did it once and regret it like immensely, because so far every day it's just been another disappointment. And it's annoying, because every time I talk about this with people, it's just like, oh, what about Trump? What about Trump? It's like, no, we're not talking about Trump right now. Like, yeah, Trump was not a good guy. Okay. He did not push the political atmosphere in a productive direction. Let me just say that. He was, I'm never trying to be an apologist for him. But if somebody is explaining a thing they don't like about Biden and you bring up Trump, that's called a whataboutism. Oh, what about this? What about that? That means you're dismissing whatever they said. You're too afraid, or you're just too ill-informed to address their actual complaint, their gripe with Biden. So it's just easier to be like, oh well, Trump was da 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 da. It's like, yeah, Trump was all that, but like you're just not willing to reflect critically on Biden. I don't know. And everybody's like, oh, why are you so hard on him? You know, if you're actually gonna have a true intellectual debate about this, you have to be fair on both sides. And I'm like, people are literally incapable of hearing criticism of politicians they like, which is the weirdest thing to me. I'm like, you realize this person does not give a shit about you. It's not like a famous athlete or like some kind of celebrity that you're idolizing, you're a fan of, and you're like, oh, I love their work. It's just such a weird thing to fangirl behind a politician. Like, you're supposed to be critical of these people. These people have been elected to rule over you, and if they're not doing what they're supposed to not critique them is insane. But the people I know who give me the most shit for criticizing Biden also tend to be the most privileged, and the ones who are not you know struggling with like 10 pre-existing conditions and hoping that Medicare for all is happening, or working 3 jobs and trying to support a family. The people I know who have a problem with me criticizing Biden are not, they're not those people. They're not marginalized. They're not, struggling. So it's easy for them to just ignore all the bad shit he's done and be like, hey, he seems better than Trump. He sounds a lot better, at least. Um, anyways, that's what I have to say about this for now. We're going to, hey, Ryan Grimm, the asshole. I'm definitely going to have to talk about this more in the future, but right now we're going to switch gears. And I want to talk about this headline, which caught my attention. Caitlyn Jenner announced his run for California governor, an expected recall election. So, for those who don't know, you probably do know, Gavin Newsom, the king of Corona, is probably going to get ousted as the California governor because of reasons. And so basically, Jenner is running for office. In a statement, Jenner called herself a proven winner and the only candidate who can put an end to Gavin Newsom's disastrous time as governor. I'm in, she wrote on her website. For the past decade, we have seen the glimmer of the Golden State reduced by one-party rule that places politics over progress and special interests over people. Sacramento needs an honest leader with a clear vision. 71 years old. Holy shit, I didn't realize she was that old. She described herself as economically conservative, socially progressive. We've heard that one before. That's the poison pill right there. Economically conservative, socially progressive. In other words, I'm going to speak platitudes about social issues and talk about the culture wars and say all this stuff that makes me seem really woke. But when it comes to actually pulling you out of poverty, giving you health care for all, giving you a living wage, not so much. I'm really curious to see how this develops, because she's running as a Republican. So I'm curious, like, number one, how is she going to be perceived by the rest of the Republican Party? And number two, how's this going to pan out just in terms of California politics? Like, are people going to be willing to vote for her just because she does represent, social progress in a way, and she was one of the most high-profile trans people of the past decade to come out as trans. And like, I don't know, when Caitlyn came out as trans, it really felt like the whole movement changed shape a little bit for some reason. So yeah, I'm kind of curious to see if Republicans support her and if the people support her, even though she's a Republican, since California is a very blue dominant state. I don't know. This is interesting to me though, but we're just seeing so much of this, like, actor politician talk. Just so many people talking about celebrities running for office, and this is interesting too. Actor Matthew McConaughey beats incumbent for Texas governorship poll, despite half the polls respondents saying they approve of Governor Greg Abbott's handling of this job. Only a third say they would vote for him over McConaughey. That's pretty amazing. And you're hearing about stuff like this all over the place. Like, there was national polls that had The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, like, winning in a landslide in a presidential election, which, maybe this could happen. But Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like, it just shows how much faith people have lost in the establishment. They're literally just willing to be like, yeah, you know what? I'm willing to vote for this trained actor whose politics I am completely unaware of, but you know what? I really like him on screen, so let's give him the ultimate seat of power and let them make all decisions. I don't know. This is scary to me. Ronald Reagan was an actor. Trump might as well have been an actor. And basically, you could argue that about like most politicians, that like the best ones are just really good actors. Like Obama, he's a fucking killer actor. Um, and that makes me trust them less personally, because it's like if you have this charismatic ability, I know it's clear that you're going to sway a ton of people in your favor. A lot of people are going to like you, and you will be perceived well, but your actions, because of that, won't get questioned enough. I don't know what to expect from this. I'm not really surprised though that like all these celebrities now are thinking about running for office. That was one thing that Trump really did prove, is like you can be an outsider and win. Even if your opponent has the entire establishment behind them, like Hillary Clinton did, you can still win. If people like you enough, you'll still win. Like it won't matter. So I don't know. I mean, we'll see what happens. Personally, I would not want to see any of these people in positions of power. I would rather see actual working class people who are not like detached from the average American's reality running for office. That being said, would Matthew McConaughey be maybe a step up from like your typical establishment Republican? Yeah, maybe. You know what? The bar is low. So I get why people are interested in this. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this develops. But till then, everyone stay safe, get vaccinated, and I will see y'all in the next video.